Hey, what's up, y'all? Alright, so today we're taking a look at the Necromancer's Tale. This is a story-rich Gothic RPG. Master the rituals of an ancient spellbook, raise an undead army to march against your enemies, commune with the realm of the dead, and struggle with your descent into madness. Progress through secrecy, diplomacy, blackmail, coercion, and seduction until ready to reveal yourself. So, sounds like it's, from what I've heard, it's kind of like the story is like you becoming a necromancer. Now, those of you who follow the channel know, I definitely dig necromancy and that class and kind of anything to do with that as far as like, you know, character creation in MMOs or ARPGs or things like that. So when I saw the Necromancer's Tale, I had to try this out. So the publishers did hook me up with a preview key to go ahead and scope this. That said, you know, we'll go ahead and get into it. It looks pretty fun though, kind of like got some turn-based combat going on as well too. Let's see some of its tags here. We got atmospheric, tactical RPG, detective, narrative, CRPG, yep, top down, open world magic, very cool. All right, and yeah, we always like to see this, very positive reviews as well too. So this launched almost about a month ago here, so let's go ahead and check this out. The Necromancer's Tale. All right, new game. All right, story mode. Balance. Choose this if you enjoy narrative and adventure as well as turn-based combat. Strategy mode. Choose this if you enjoy narrative and adventure and want extra challenge in combat. We'll probably go with this balance first, but cool to always see that you have different modes to go through. Homegirl just drinking some poison. So this is a very story-rich from what I've heard.
In the year of our Lord, 1701,
thank you for the voiceover.
The Republic of Venice went to war with the sovereign monarchy of Ralston. This war was over passage rights through the Adriatic Sea, though this point will rarely be brought up when the war is discussed by future historians.
I need that board of this window mode. Okay.
It was, like most wars, overstretched and too costly. Neither side could afford it, nor would they back down. Many lives were lost, and whatever the outcome, each nation would nurse its wounds for some time. The war raged on for 6 years, draining both countries' resources, but the Republic of Venice was older than Ralston and had deeper pockets. In a war of attrition, they would win, and both sides knew it. 3 generals from Ralston, 2 brothers and a close friend, came together to strategize, and came up with nothing. They would not win this war. In desperation, one reached out to a dark power and was told to make pilgrimage to Golgotha. With no other avenue, they spent 1 month sailing to the walls of Jerusalem.
Them dark arts.
Where they docked under cover of darkness. On the hill where the man named Jesus died, they met a figure, too old to identify as man or woman. It offered them a book, an already ancient thing made of pale leathers and filled with symbols that hurt their eyes to look upon. The thing smiled as they took it, a smile made of too many teeth.
I can picture it.
Full of dread for what they had seen and what they were about to do, they sailed for another month to get home. Things had gone badly in the time they were away. Soon they would have to surrender, and Ralston would fall into decline, one it was unlikely to survive. Whatever doubt the men had about using the knowledge in that book, their mind was set now. They cast its pages open and chanted dark incantations. And lo, did the dead walk upon the earth that night. Undead sailors hauled themselves into the Venetian boats. Soldiers dragged themselves from battlefields and clawed up from shallow graves to drive the Venetians from the land. The war was won. the Venetians could not fight Ralston's impossible numbers. They surrendered, the book was shut, and the dead were dead once more. The book was destroyed, but the world had noticed. Ralston had dark magic, and no shame in using it. Many enemies, without and within, were born that day. 1711. 3 years later,
3 years later,
a child was born to one of the generals involved in unleashing the spell.
it's a curse. Watch this. He pays the price. Oh, okay, this is me. A beautiful baby boy.
A beautiful baby boy.
This is cool. Vile Urple. You were named Vile Urple. That night you were born, a blood moon hung low in the sky. There was a storm the night you were born, one that came from nowhere. A ship was caught in it, doomed to be dragged to the ocean floor. A comet passed overhead that night, one that cycled between purple and green. Blood moon sounds
The
dope.
night you were born, a blood moon hung low in the sky.
Okay.
Shepherds took their flocks in, and old women lit candles in windows to ward off such an ill omen. You were taken from your mother and left with a nursemaid for your first few days in this world.
She was a kindly girl from the town's poor quarters. Where paths crossed every few years, she had never reintroduced herself. Seeing you always cheers her up, and she is content with that. A distant cousin who hated being tasked with minding you. She largely ignored you, and when it was done, she told everyone what a fine job she did and how you both had an unbreakable bond. You have not spoken since. A heavy-set lady who helped raise money for children in the town. She was lauded for her understanding of children and how their minds behaved, though nobody turned up at her funeral when she died of heart failure.
A heavy-set lady who helped raise many children in the town.
Analyze is going to be...
She was lauded for her understanding of children
gonna be able to
and how their minds
analyze is the
behaved.
ability to read other
Nobody
people's
turned
truthfulness
up
and
at her funeral
intentions.
when she died of
I do
heart
like the
failure.
hovers over here with the tooltips. Strength refers to physical power in tasks such as arm wrestling or breaking things. Agility refers to speed, agility and dexterity, and it affects how fast you move in combat as well as how well you can compete in physical awkward tasks. Constitution refers to general health, stamina, and the ability to withstand poison, alcohol, or mental stress. Acuity refers to logical thinking and the ability to piece together clues to form a conclusion. Knowledge refers to important information regarding such as local history, military, or medical facts. Investigate is the ability to notice important details or out-of-the-place elements. Also helps avoid ambushes. I always like to usually go like perception or investigate. Analyze, okay. Impress refers to your charm, getting people to like and trust you. Convince is your ability to tell lies and talk people into doing your bidding.
You were born into wealth and status, and had all you could wish for. But your parents never had another child, and your father was often preoccupied with his work. Your mother, distant, sickly and delirious, you heard another mother say. Hoffman, the family steward, raised you more than they. It was a lonely childhood.
Damn.
1718. You are 8 years old. You play with friends from school, 2 poorer boys, Diedrich and Flip. Your father disapproves. You play in the graveyard outside the city. Nobody goes there without an armed guard. But children do not care for such things. Children are small and fast and can outrun Ghoul, at least when the sun is up. One day, as you play, you hear a rustling coming from some trees.
Oof.
You all freeze. Then a stone whizzes out of the green and hits you on the head. You stare in disbelief, a slow trickle of blood running down your face, partially blocking sight from your left eye.
The leads part, your cousin Lucas, 10 years old, your senior, steps out. You scan for the tree line and spot Sophia, a girl you recognize from school. A group of other children from the city emerge from the tree line. You recognize the leader, a boy named Willard. Yeah, dude, let's fight this clown.
A group of other children from the city emerge from the tree line. You recognize their leader, a boy named Willard.
Bunch of bullies.
You shouldn't be here, he calls out. It's against the rules. He punches the palm of his hand. This is for your own good.
Hey, you don't tell me what to do. You scan the area and spot a guard patrolling the wall. They stand tall, but you know what really scares them. Go ahead, my father will be interested to find out which orphans beat me up. I probably want to go for, like, scanning the area.
You scan the area and spot a guard patrolling the wall.
See what you're doing here.
Picking up some stones of your own, you turn to the trees behind you. Flinging the stones at the leaves, you disturbed some nests you had seen there earlier. The tree burst into life as the crows flew in all directions. The guard at the gate jumped, startled by the noise and expected ghoulie. When she saw it was children, she yelled to you all to return to the safety of the city.
Damn.
She must have reported it to somebody. Your father, maybe, or the schoolmaster. Because the next day at school,
Nice.
Willard and the other orphans were covered in welts.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for the sub.
They never threatened you again after that. That night, you are woken by a scratching sound at your window. You lift yourself up on one arm and rub your eyes with the other. The scratching sound turns to a chipping one, and a moment later there is a muffled sound of glass breaking. A thin black arm reaches in then and unlatches the window. You know that arm, that kind of arm. A ghoul. You scream as it pulls the window open and pulls itself into the room. You've never been so close to one. Its face is like a man's, but gaunt and twisted into a sorrowful, angry expression. It lands on the floor of your room with a sickening thud, and as it stands, it ripples and twists in unnatural ways. You scramble away from it, hot tears streaming down your face as you continue to scream, your throat already sore. The door behind you swings open. Your father steps in. As he looks at the creature, his face is expressionless. He enters the room, sword in hand, and feints to the left. As it lunges, he sidesteps to the right.
Daddy's
and
a fighter, bruh.
slices downwards. The gore that sprays from the thing as it falls flicks onto your face. Your father looks down at you for a moment, then nods and leaves to make sure there are no others. You never play in the graveyard again.
Deal.
1721. One morning, your mother comes to your school. She takes you out, even though classes are not finished. She says everything is okay, but you do not believe her.
It's her appearance that gives her away. Her mannerisms tip you off. Her presence alone is the warning. I think investigate here.
It's her appearance that gives her away. She is normally so perfect, but her hair is out of place.
I just love being able to, like, perceive things in the world, you know?
Faded. She brings you around the town. First you stop to buy sugared apples. Then she takes you shopping. New clothes, new books, new toys. A luggage trunk. She brings you to the castle and, with some whispered words and coins exchanged, the guard lets you into the grounds. You go to the pond and throw bread and watch fish pop their heads up to steal from the ducks. You walk the city walls and the two of you take in the view. The sea to the west, the hills to the south, the forest to the east and north, and beyond the northern tree line, the road that leads to the capital. That, she tells you through teary eyes, is where you're going. You won't understand until you're older. Maybe not even then. You need more than I can give you, more than I can be.
Shit.
You protest. She cries. When she stops crying, she doesn't remember where you are, how you got there. A watchman brings you home. There your father glares at you, angry that you upset your mother, angry at your non-compliance. Hoffman brings you to your room to help you put your new clothes and books and toys into your new trunk. He tells you that she loves you, that this is for the best. A few days later, your carriage rides out of town. In your children's stories, events like this happen on rainy days, but today is sunny and clear-skied. As the carriage crests a hill, you can look back towards the city and see it all. The farms, the walls, the groves, the castle, the seas. You're home. How do you feel as you are taken away?
I'm angry, feeling unwanted and tossed aside. This is something I could not fight. I hurt a deep wound of betrayal. My parents are supposed to look after me, not discard me. I don't understand what I did wrong for them to send me away like this. I wonder if I'll ever understand.
I am angry, feeling unwanted and tossed aside. This is something I could not fight. 1722. A year has passed, more quickly than you might have expected. Winter's first snow falls lightly outside. You watch from your dorm and reflect on your time here.
The year was hard on you. You started many fights, but you ended many too. You are thankful for the library here. Books have been your salvation. You took this new life quickly, making many friends. Okay, so that's probably going to be, again, investigate here.
You are thankful for
Knowledge.
the library here.
Alright.
Books have been your salvation.
Okay.
You look at the collection of books scattered around you now. Buried under them are the books your mother bought you over a year ago.
Ooh, impress
You've
minus
read them
one.
many times. You miss her. 1725. Your schooling is done now. Your time here is over. You spent much of this year deciding what to do next.
And then you decided to continue with education. Ultimately, you decided to follow in your father's footsteps and join the military. One of your professors said she saw something in you, a spark that would see you well in the world of courtly intrigue.
In the end, you decided to continue with education.
Yeah.
You are unsure where this will lead you, but you wanted a life of experimentation and discovery. This was more important to you than riches. With your path decided, you found you had time before your training began, so you made the trip home to visit your parents and tell them of your plans. Your travel home feels faster than it was leaving. Perhaps mindset, perhaps age, perhaps because you have done it once already and can spy milestones. Whatever the reason, you arrive home to your mother and Hoffman awaiting you. Your father is not there, but joins you for dinner that evening. It had been 4 years since you were home. Not a long time for some, but a quarter of your life. You had this idea that you had matured, changed so much in that time, but...
Your attempts to gain access to the library's restricted areas are rejected. The master there refuses you. Those books are not for children. You try to wow your old friends with tales of your time away, and it pains you when they don't seem impressed. You'll still find your father as inscrutable as ever.
You still find your father to be as inscrutable as ever.
That's fine, that's fine.
You try to engage the man. Talk about his interests, your time away, and your chosen path. But You cannot tell if he is impressed, interested, or even paying attention. Despite this, it is good to be home again, to see your friends and family.
I am not impressed at all.
As you leave for your new training, you wonder how long until you come home next, and how you will have changed by then. 1727. You are nearly 2 years into your training now, and it goes largely as expected. You miss home, but the pangs grow less as time passes. One day, you learn that your class has been granted an audience with the great scientist Isaac Newton. When you enter his home in Hampshire, a young lady, his niece you later learn, brings you into the drawing room where he is having afternoon tea. A teacher and 11 students entered the room ahead of you, and you could hear the great man welcoming them. As you entered, you noted he no longer had the flowing white locks you'd seen in paintings. He was bald, and his skin was sunken. Still, he composed himself well as he greeted the others. Then he came to you. He looked at you a moment, eyes wide and mouth baring teeth. He pointed a bony finger at you and screeched,
"Who is this with whom death walks?
Whoa.
Why have you taken the Reaper to me? My time is not nigh, and I shall not go. Begone, herald of the Death Angel!"
Okay.
The old man continued to shriek at you, going so far as to throw tea at you. You left. A classmate told you he took some calming down before he would continue with the talk, and seemed hurried and distracted throughout.
Necromancer.
Word reached you a month later that Newton had died. It was peaceful, in his sleep, and said to be of natural complications in line with his deteriorating health. A few days later, a letter arrives telling you that a civil war of sorts has broken out in your homeland. A lich, a powerful undead sorcerer, has begun raising the dead and marches on the capital.
Teach me.
So far, its armies show no sign of moving out of Ralston, but Venetian and Habsburg forces are amassing on their respective borders to repel anything that tries to cross them. You spend the next year following the news as it comes, conflicting reports in newspapers and the occasional letter from home. Eventually, word reaches you that the Lich has been defeated, that its forces collapsed as the final blow was struck. Your father was at that battle, as was your uncle. You learn your uncle was wounded, but is well. Neither man died, though the same cannot be said for thousands of others in the country. Many times you think of your terrible meeting with Newton. You read up on his other work, his alchemical and eschatological studies, his scouring of the Bible for clues to the nature of existence, and cannot help but wonder what he had read that led him to see your nation's struggle in your face before a word of it had reached you. 1729. Your training complete, you land your first post.
You secure a teaching position in the newly founded university. An archaeological dig in the Herculean hires you to help with the excavation. You work in a laboratory now.
An archaeological dig in Herculaneum hires you to help with the excavation. Herculaneum was buried alongside Pompeii when Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD. Found by chance in 1709, groups had been going there to dig what they could from the ash. You expect it to be delicate, slow work, but the men who hired you dig tirelessly and aggressively. When they find anything, they call you. Is it of value? If yes, it is kept. If not, they hurl it aside. They are looters. You are a looter.
Oh well. I don't care. There is money to be made of this, and I do what I can to maximize our profit. I cannot believe I've been tricked like this. I help as little as possible, lying to them about the value of items. I hope to come back someday with a real team and properly excavate the place.
I don't care.
Yeah,
There's money to
money
be made
14,
of this,
baby.
and I
Let's
do
go.
what I can to maximize our profit.
So just gain 10 gold.
1731. You are through the early years of your career now. You have earned some recognition and accolades. Some time from work and a purse are made available to you. As you take some time to enjoy this leave, a terrible thing happens to you.
God. Your arm is broken while climbing the Alps. A stomach trip results in a terrible stomach wound. A hunting trip. A night on the town ends with your leg being severely damaged. I could probably take a hit to Constitution.
A hunting trip results in a terrible stomach wound. You had ridden out to a nearby forest with 2 friends. When the trail got too dense to bring the mounts any further, you tied them up and carried on foot. You walked for another half hour in silence to find a suitable glade, and then you all spread out. Each of you found some covering, and you settled in for a long wait. It was hard to measure time with the canopy blocking the sun, but you estimated you had been there for another 2 hours at least before you heard movement. A doe, a slight creature, had stopped to graze in the clearing. You steadied yourself and slowly raised your bow, but before you had a chance to let an arrow fly, Laszlo burst from his hiding place and shot at the creature. The doe raised up in surprise, so he only caught her in the flank. She threw her head up, shrieked in pain, and ran. Laszlo took flight after her, trying to knock another arrow as he went. You and Elsa exchanged glances before taking off after him. His shot must have struck something, as he was largely keeping pace with the creature. He fired a second shot that went wild, and a third that grazed her even more so than before. His fourth shot hit just as she went into some foliage, and so she crashed through it. Silence then. She was no longer running. Perhaps, you thought, he had taken her down. He advanced to check on his prey. There was sound from the brush. Could she only be wounded, not dead? As he neared, the undergrowth bursts open and a large thing stepped through. It was the shape of a stag, though it was twice the size, and shifted mercurially, as if made of black ink flowing through water. A forest spirit. Lying behind it, the deer panted. She was alive. Whatever that spirit was, it was there to protect her. Laszlo fell backwards as its wild red eyes landed on him. It exhaled a deep, guttural grunt, and a dark mist poured from its nostrils. The creature reared up to crush him beneath it. You fired a shot to distract it. Your arrow went right through the ethereal stag, but did not seem to register. When the creature's blow missed Laszlo, it turned to you. It kicked a hind leg and lowered its head. Elsa was already running. You turned and ran too. Behind you, you heard the beast charge. You looked over your shoulder to see Laszlo had been able to scramble to his feet and was now running the other way. You also saw the spirit bearing down on you. As it neared, your foot snagged on something, and you plummeted towards the forest floor. The sudden change in trajectory pulled you from the beast's path so you avoided the full impact. Instead, an antler caught your side, and you felt a searing white pain rush through your body. You were unconscious before you hit the ground. When you came to, Elsa and Laszlo were carrying you back to the horses, an arm over each shoulder. There was no sign of the stag spirit or the doe. You felt cold and damp, Your head sagged and you saw your tunic stained brown and red with blood. A lot of blood. You passed out again. You were on horse then. Elsa had you draped across her saddle as she rode you to town. As quickly as you regained consciousness, you lost it again. Then you awoke in a house. A doctor had patched you up. You had lost a lot of blood, but no serious damage was done. You recovered, but your stomach will be pocked forever by this. A memory of both how unlucky and lucky you were. 1733. When you learned of your father's death, you were... resting in your home.
Okay, good.
The ringing at the door.
Constitution +2.
It was late. Too late for visitors.
I thought that was -2. I was like, my god.
Intruder would ring a bell.
I had like 2 HP.
You armed yourself. When you opened the door, the young woman must have seen your weapon, perhaps just your expression, and gasped. She apologized for delivering the news so late. The letter hit you hard. You fell to your knees there in the doorway, with that scared young woman, unsure what to say. Something changed in you then, and not for the better. I went numb. It seemed matter-of-fact to me. Of course he would die now, as my life gets going. It was very like him. I found myself thinking he had perhaps died now on purpose. A foolish thought. And yet, now, days later, your carriage crests the hills towards Marnes, the sun blasting off the red and yellow bricks and rippling off the blue sea beyond. You are almost home.
Home to bury a man I never really knew, I would never know. Home to reclaim my life here, now that the man who sent me away is dead. Home to see my mother, to support her in this terrible time.
Home to reclaim my life here, now that the man who sent me away is dead.
Look at me. Fire Liberal Valen, I look pretty dope. Oh, so I can adjust it here, huh? Skill points remaining. Okay, so I can kind of work with this then. Let's see. So it's cool how it rolled that, but we're gonna do this. We're gonna getting people to like and trust you is your ability to tell lies and talk to people into doing your bidding. I like that. Investigate. I do like that. Knowledge, acuity. How fast you move in combat. I mean, honestly, for this, local history. I feel like that's good. I feel like I should not be getting into fights if I have pets, though, you know? 1 hour from the northern gate of Marnes, my coach has been climbing a steep hill surrounded by all side by oaks before the great forest gave way to farmland. And there we saw a young woman accosted by 2 brigands. My coachman called to me.
Please stop, sir.
Yeah. At once, our coach pulled to a stop. Is everything okay here, my good lady? Hey there, good men. What has this young woman done to draw your attention? You men, what are you doing? Has Marnes fallen so far since I have been away that the 2 of you should accost a lady so near to our great city gates? Why she got your attention?
This woman
is a trickster. Don't let her appearance deceive you.
The woman looked at him with disdain but not
I'm
fear.
not afraid of you.
The men advanced with spears trained on her. I attempted to bargain with them. I mean, my convince check. Let's go. Moding. Skill check. You're making a skill check. It's a level 2 analyze check. This means you need 2 levels of analyze to pass it. If your skill is less than 2, then you can spend points from your skill pool to make up the balance. Your skill pool refills at the start of each chapter. Okay, okay. Skill check level 2. Spend 0 skills points to pay them off with 4 crowns. Spend 0 skill points to ask them to reconsider. Oh, I checked my current points though. Analyze is 3. Yeah, spend 0 skill points and ask them to reconsider. Please consider your actions. This is a peaceful young woman. The 2 men turned their spears toward me, and my coachman leapt down with his sword drawn. Oh, we're fighting. Combat tips. To the left of the screen are the combat portraits of your main character and your allies. Characters take turns in sequence. To the right of your screen are your enemies. Click on the portrait to zoom the camera to that character. Alright, we are... Okay, I go first, or... Can Klaus go first? I gotta go first. Okay, tip 1 of 8. Combat tips. Each portrait has a health bar and a circled number showing action points, APs. Are you smooth, attack, reload, equip weapons, and cast spells? In addition, your own character has a number inside of the star sheet. This is their magic points for casting spells. Click on the terrain to move your active character towards that spot. The hexagonal tiles light up and show you the route. Combat tips. Click on an enemy character to attack them with your active character. You must be close enough to them to strike and have enough action points left. Melee weapons, swords, halberds have a range of 1 to 2 hexes, while missile weapons, crossbows, muskets fire a lot further. However, they can be slow to reload. The end turn button finishes the current active character's turn. Moral characters can carry up to 3 unused action points to the next combat round. Okay, so you can carry over. Combat tips. You can open up your inventory and double-click a weapon to equip it. For more detailed control, open both your character sheet and inventory and drag items across the slots in them. Hover your weapon icon in your character sheet or inventory to see its stats. This includes how many action points it takes to use and its effectiveness against unarmored, leathered armor, and metal armored foes. If you have undead minions in your control and some magical ability, then you can activate a move minion by casting the Activate Minion spell. Control phase passes back to your main character when you click End Turn for that minion. After firing a missile, you'll need to reload it. Reloading costs action points. Muskets have an especially high reload cost. While reloading, you cannot move, attack, or cast battle magic. You can cancel reloading at any time. Ending your turn while reloading will use your remaining AP on that. During combat, your camera can move freely. Use the arrow keys or right joystick on a controller. The combat speed up slider controls the speed of the action. Click the information icon for more detailed information about combat. Alright, bro. Let's go here. Let's see, we got our backpack. What do we got? We got a knife. My character sheet up. Throw this bad boy on there. Cannot attack this distance with melee. Who goes first? So 1. You, sir. 1 sec. I can't attack. It requires 2 AP, so I just moved into his range. Okay. Oof. Ooh, a swing and a miss, bro? It's a miss? Ooh, big deeps, bro. Double up. The men turned and fled. The fight was not going their way. We let them go.
Thank you for helping me.
Yeah.
You are the son of Zelig.
She shrugged, smiled sweetly, and straightened her garland in her hair. I nodded. She seemed about my age, but I did not recall her face from the past. Be safe then. I must be away, for my father's funeral awaits.
I am sorry. It is a sad day, and Lord Zelig was a good man.
Climbed back into the coach and glanced out the way, but in place of the young woman stood an old hag, watching me. The shadows seemed to draw in around her, leaving her face indistinct.
Iveri, vi Zelig dead the wolves are circling.
What?
The House of Van Eerstrik may have an important part in the future of the kingdom. Do not presume to know who your friends and enemies are.
Super story rich. It's definitely one of the strengths of this game from what I've heard.
Whoa there.
The carriage came, so it's like really immersive in the story, right? Sudden stop, which jolted me awake. I had thought that on my return home after so many years that I would watch it all, rising up over the hill in the morns, entering the gates and ride for my family home. But I had been traveling for 3 days now, and I had clearly been too tired to stay awake, despite the strange encounter in the northern forest. Still, I was home. Perhaps it was unkind of me. But when I stepped out, I was surprised to be greeted by Hoffman. I expected him to be long retired by now. Despite his age, he stood tall as he greeted me.
Welcome home, my lord. I trust your journey was a pleasant one.
Yep. It was tired. Get my bags, Albrecht. I've returned home to bury my father, Albrecht. No, it was just a pleasant journey. Skill check. Analyze 2. Spend 0 skill points to notice something about Albrecht's demeanor. Hoffman was always an indecipherable aid to my father. He showed no emotion in most things. To study him would do little to give away that he was largely raised by my father and followed him into numerous wars. So when he froze for a moment, I noticed. I would make sure to discuss this with him later, in a more private setting. Okay, I must have been staring for too long because he cuts the silence.
If sir wishes to go inside, I shall follow along with the luggage.
I nodded and let him be. I feel like I'm in a book or something right now. We got our shift to sprint. Graphic settings lets you turn... Settings... Graphics is good. Shadow quality, full screen. Blue, frame rate, brightness. Interface, combat. Hold on. Can we go back outside? The boat hadn't been tended in an age. I wonder if it was still seaworthy. Fond memories of jumping into the sea from here. Okay. Alright, camera rotate. That's pretty solid. Black and white cat sat here, watching me suspiciously. I reached out a hand. Hissed and ran off to the house. Garden chest? Let's get it. Spade. Digging implement, also makeshift weapon. Not bad as a weapon too. Melee attack 2 to 3 tiles, slow strike. Hat. Base damage 10. Leather 8. Base damage 35. Crimes and misdemeanors. While committing a crime or misdemeanor, you will see blue arcs in front of other characters. If you move inside an arc, it will turn red, indicating you've been witnessed. Carrying a weapon openly within the city is not allowed. Okay, copy that. I do got a little hat now. You can view your active tasks by using the journal icon in your taskbar. This icon flashes when there's unread content. A pretty old big map over here. Character, inventory, spellbook, journal. Before anything else, I need to talk to Albrecht and my mother and learn what I can about my father's death. Copy that. You can make your own entries in the journal by hovering over the last entry and using plus. This is cool. Ask Butler about what I noticed in private. Definitely got some like this kind of like detective feels right here. Juliana. So we got here. Partial suit of armor. Where's the rest of this armor? I needed to ask Albrecht. Where were these paintings off the wall? Albrecht would know. Something's amiss, brah. My mother looked at me, looked to be waking from a rest. As I approached, she raised her hand to block the light as she looked at me.
Zelig, is it time for bed? I'm afraid I fell asleep while reading.
Mother, it's me. I decided it was best to leave her rest. Possessions, such as they were, some change of clothes, some books, nothing of real value. When I saw Albrecht, he was standing in the lobby besides my bags.
Can I help you, my lord?
Outside what I mentioned my father, you reacted strangely. Is everything okay? I have not seen the rest of the house staff since arriving home. I saw my mother. She doesn't seem like okay. What news of the funeral plans? Why does her have suits? Decided to bid him farewell. When did we get a black cat? It was a new arrival. Outside when I mentioned my father, you reacted strangely. Is everything okay? He paused for a moment. It has already happened, my lord. He was cremated and entombed yesterday. We did not receive word of your arrival, so your uncle hastened the event as your mother's health has been understandably poor since his passing. I hoped to allow you more time to rest after your trip before telling you. Damn. I was shocked at first, and I am sure that Albrecht noticed an uncharacteristic softness came over him then. It was a suitable affair, I assure you. The letter didn't mention how my father died. Sharp look from him, and then he must not have wanted the question, but surely expected it. Forgive me, my lord, but I must confess I'm embarrassed to tell you he was found dead in a bush. The smell of alcohol strong on him. The herbalist, Halen, performed the autopsy and said it was a failure of the heart brought on by an overindulgence of liquor. Okay. Added note to journal. The herbalist? Did the city have no doctors? I should find and question this man soon. Meanwhile, I need to search the house for more evidence on my father's drinking habits. Why the herbalist? Why not a surgeon? I'm afraid I do not know why. He is a learned man, I suppose. Who found him? The groundskeeper found him as he began his morning chores. Anticipating my next question, Albert cut me off. Nikos is not here. He no longer works for the family. Why not? Perhaps a discussion best left for now, but in brief, with your father's passing, the family's financial affairs are unstable. So I think now, let's see here. Is this kind of keeping track of my shit? Because I can't open this up right now. Drunk in a bush? Yes, some broken bottles were found scattered around him. With the funeral, I've not had time to tidy the area. Should you wish to look, it's around the back of the house, okay? I could talk to my father's death no longer. Tell me more about this financial issue. Master, I cannot say much about it, as it's still not clear on it all myself. Your father, it seems, had managed to run down his finances. While alive, he was keeping things going, though just enough to mask it from me. And when things settle more, with your permission, I'll begin to go through the finances of his office and make sense of the situation. I absently nodded in agreement as I considered what my father had done. Perhaps I should look through these documents in my father's office as well. I've not seen the rest of the house staff since arriving. Ah, yes, they have been temporarily let go, I'm afraid. In brief, your father's passing has left the family's financials under pressure, a conversation that I hope you are settled in, I think, Mr. Filepro. Tell me more about the funeral. His weight shifted. It was, as you would expect, a grand event for the Soldier's Guard. Your uncle spoke, then a cremation. Once the ashes were gathered, they were marched through town, the crypts were cleared, and his remains were placed in the family vault. If the gold chased out are any indication, his ghost would have been suitable to fight God, see fit to charge him so. A hint of pride showed across his face then, the most honorable burial possible. Your uncle was commissioned a statue in the town's center. Natasha Massin has been hired for the task, and at no small cost. The name meant nothing to me, but Albrecht seemed to feel her work was befitting my father's memory. I said, my mother, she doesn't seem normal. What's going on? The old man inhaled deeply and sighed. Yes, she's been declining rapidly since your father's passed. Not sleeping in confusion, losing sense of where she is. I'm hoping your return will anchor her some. I'm sure that in a few days, when the pain lessens, she'll sleep better, properly, normally. Until then, she wanders a little lost, and I help her get to sleep when she can. Yes, I'm sure she will be fine in time, Master Filepro. I'm sure of it. Perhaps the herbalist could take a look. He seems to be the center of medical excellence in the area. Trust me, sir, there's no concoction he can brew to aid her. I don't know why he performed your father's autopsy, but I would not let him near your mother. Oh, this is like super thorough here. Why is there half a suit of armor on display? We probably have to sell some shit, right? We are in the midst of selling some pieces. In brief, your father's passing has left the family's finances under pressure. Why are the paintings being taken down? Yes, we're in the midst of selling some pieces. Okay. Why was the funeral so soon after his death? There were no words that would that you would arrive, and your uncle's worried that the shroud would try to take the body. The shroud? I thought that had all been the worshippers of the Lich and been taken care of by now, but clearly that was not the case. Given your father's part in the war, his corpse would have made a valuable trophy. Do they have the ability to raise the dead? I thought that was lost with the Lich. It is hoped so. The presumption is that they are waiting, hoping for a new Death Lord to rise. Taking the body would be more a gesture of resistance. Why would anyone living pledge themselves to an undead sorcerer? Bro, this is gonna be me. It is hard to say. For some, this life isn't enough, I suppose. They want more time, or maybe they just want to see others suffer, but I speculate. I'm surprised that the members haven't been chased down by now. Your uncle has tried, but they are hard to find. They do not advertise themselves, you understand. Then, what makes you so sure that they are left? There are many mortals who fought on the Lich's side in the war. Not all were found. Your uncle believes that those who survived are out there, waiting. Okay. I had nothing less to ask about the shroud. Okay, we did all this. Okay. I decided to bid him farewell and go on my day. I traveled all this way, and they had already had a funeral. Created my father's most precious wines. Why was this sitting in the entrance hall? Father had important meals at this table. I was never invited to those. I'm gonna scope outside real quick. Go check out work pops. A mess of whiskey bottles lay scattered on the ground beneath a battered bush. So this is where my father was found. Skill check, knowledge 3. I think I have that. Spend 0 points to just feel the disappointment. So spend 1 skill point to recall something of your father. Your current pool is 5. Nah, dude, we're good. Shameful into his life. Then I spotted a small key, half buried in the dirt. It must have fallen from my father's pocket when he was there. I put it in my bag. Yoink. The plot thickens. Water, huh? I did not have a vessel in my hand to fill the water. Hint, you can use the right mouse button or control key to see additional interaction icons in the world. Hold on, control. I see. Condolence cards. Set of condolence cards displayed on the table. Oh, shit. I opened the card for my uncle, Baron Gervais. Okay. Juliana, I still cannot believe he is gone. With the pomp over, I'll be taking some time to mourn him. If you need anything while I'm gone, ask Lucas. I'm sorry that I need to retreat away when you need me most. I failed him and now I failed you. God Captain. Madame, your husband was and will continue to be a great inspiration to me and my soldiers. We will endeavor to keep Mars and all of the Ruthsen as safe as he did, knowing it takes a legion to replace him. I checked the offering from a man named Lord Richard Carnell. I am saddened by your loss. Read the card from Cousin Lucas. Dear Aunt, I am insoluble at the loss of Uncle Zelig. If you need anything at any time, please, anything I can do, just ask. I spotted a card from the Queen of Ruthsen, Ulka III. Deeply saddened by the loss of one of Ruthsen's finest sons, his efforts in service to his country these past 30+ years have kept the great nation safe and prosperous through admittedly difficult times. It is truly hard to say that we would stand so tall were it not for his sacrifices. Know that I shall hold a vigil for him on the day of his funeral, and that the royal household shall be fasting in his honor and memory. There was one from my friend Diedrich and his grandmother Sybil. We don't have the words to convey our sympathies. If there's anything you need, you have but ask. One of the cards was signed by S. Death comes to us all in the end. Death comes for us all in the end, but how do we greet him? Cowering, angry? Bartering like some statesman perhaps? Or with open arms like a friend? This was addressed to me alone. Valuable. I'm so sorry. I admire your father. Always wish he'd been my dad. Let's drink to his memory when you get back, yeah? There's one from my local priest, Father Oliver. I am wounded by the mess, by the news of such a loss to you, us in the city, and the entire nation. I'll set in motion to plan for such a grand funeral in February, and to ferry him off to our Lord God and his heavenly angels. A saint of a man. My heart weeps for you. Pushed to the back of the card was from my friend Sophia. Sorry to hear about your father, so maybe you can come home now, eh? Okay, stepped away from the table. Gulliver's Travels. Ho-ho. Robinson Crusoe? So definitely a lot of like reading and everything like that too, if you're down with that. I recognize none of the people whose portraits hung on the wall, nor the names on the plaques. Probably would like Alt. Let me see if I could change that. Settings, interface and controls. Controls and remap. Walk, run, rotate, pan. Let's see what's control. See additional icons. Right mouse button. Oh, just hold this in. I see. I see. Let's do Alt. Okay, looks like you can't do that then. Well, after a time I ceased. Kind of like how it's like speaking as kitty. My favorite places in the house. Many a night when Albrecht would bring me here to fix me a late place to snack before my father had gone to bed. Let's go ahead and grab all this, huh? Took the ladle, you took the pot. Stove, okay, so there's like cooking in here too. Larder, what you got in here? Cleaver, probably use that. Empty jars. Cleaver. Makeshift weapon with limited effectiveness. Space damage, okay? It chops. A large drink rack. Bottles of wine. Nothing stronger in sight. Okay. Hold on, this is probably like to the cellar, huh? To the storeroom? This is clearly a trapdoor, heavy looking, reinforced with metal braces, and it's no obvious locking mechanism. I could not see any way to open it. It's perhaps something Albrecht might know. Okay. Kind of cool, seamless, like, dusty storeroom where my father kept mementos for his adventuring days. This was another room I had forbidden to be in as a child, but not today. Linen bag. That'll probably give me more room, I think. Took the telescope. An old party dress for my mother's. I remember her wearing at this big event. Ooh. Nice little military medal of my father's. Alright. Door to Albrecht's room was always locked, understandably, as it was his only place of refuge. Okay. Oh, come on, come on. Moving's a little funky. Especially with having to use the right trigger to, like, see things or control. Go scope up here, though. Unimportant looking papers. Maybe worn as a bandage to stop bleeding? Full suit, let's go. Father was in his office, he'd have to be here. I used to wait for him to leave so I could look at whatever he had just been reading. Where my cousins Lucas stayed, where he was with us, I wondered when this room last saw use. My parents' bedroom, even now, it felt like a violation to be here. This journal. My mother's journal was a mess, and disappointing sentences and lists, and if she was trying to remind herself even the most basic tasks. Fancy dress bed gown. I just sell this shit. Money's money. Father's study, where he spent most of his time. Okay. I saw the books on the shelves. An old volume entitled Sentence for the Living caught my eye. I could find it here again later if it seemed useful. Okay, I missed it. Okay, cool. Seance for the Living. Looked like there was something up there. I could probably reach it with a stretch. Agility check? Oh god. Climb to the shelf and reach it. Your current pool is 5. We'll spend 1 point. Inside was an unaddressed letter to my father I clearly intended to send, but now he never would. Omen, you owe me a debt, and I intend to collect it in a week hence. I warn you neither to disappoint nor shortchange me. The result of either would be most unpleasant for you. Okay. Father's note added to inventory. Ooh, nice. My father didn't need it here any longer. I decided to strap the family blade to my waist. Hell yeah, dude. Get that sword. Pile of maps. Okay. I search for details on matters financial. After I mentioned the family affairs, I ignored the other texts and focused on a ledger showing my father's expenses. Things were bleaker than I expected, and I could understand why Albrecht decided to cut back on the staff. With my father alive, he could have held things together better. Certainly, but what are a butler and my mother to do with the loss of income? Where had all the money gone? The ledger showed it bleeding out, but to where? Perhaps in those books, he had been looking for a way to turn lead to gold. There's also some letters on the desk. Of note, the one demanding payment for or else stood out. I was shocked to see my father was in debt to some shady sort, but given his finances, I understand at least. I examined the maps. Up-to-date charts of the known world, and sketchings of locals areas with various nearby tombs marked out. Yup. Examine the papers. It was a scattering of personal and academic papers. My father was not, to my memory, a particularly learned man. So I was surprised to see his writings from Zoimos D and Pericles. I could make out no discernible pattern in what my father had been researching. Okay, I left the best as I found it. It's in the drawer. Ah, the drawer is locked. I need to find a key. Put the key here. Inventory. My father's key. Don't I have that? Here we go. A small key. A bottle of port, even a private stash. Stash didn't have whiskey. Surely he would have had some whiskey in the house if he was all fond of it, but everything was wine. Something didn't add up. I hadn't been home for a long time before this, and what I learned on my return made me wonder if things had changed a lot in the time that I had been too young to form a realistic picture of my family. My mother was ill, very ill. I remember her being absent as a child, not distant. She was a loving mother, just one who was different. Only now I could see she had been seen dealing with something significant. Father had been in a precarious place leading up to his death, which in itself raised suspicion in me. I resolved to stay in the morns for a time to assist my mother. Not wishing to be a further drain on the family, I would go into the city and look for work. All the while, I would seek answers about my father's death. Something was not adding up, and I wanted to know. It was time to go to the city. Alright, so we got some good shit here. Uso ring. Sells for 3 crowns. Why don't we just put this bad boy on? Then also have a nice sword. Bottle of port. Mana boost when worn or held. Yoink. When worn? Got it. Nice little mana boost. We'll take that. Leather gloves. My father's old belt. I don't think this goes anywhere. Held in hand, okay. Alright. So we investigated all the things.
Can I help you, my lord?
Do you know anything about the trapdoor in the floor of our storeroom? Yes, my lord, the old wine cellar is below there. He paused for a moment before continuing. Zyke had it bolted down after some creatures found their way in through the old tunnel. Do you know how it could be opened? Would that be wise? Besides, I do not know. Sorry. Could we discuss the household finances further? How did things get so bad? Did my father not have military pension? Surely we could sell off some more items. He did it. I must be honest, though. I had never privy for your father's financial matters. I can only summarize that he had substantial expenses unknown to me. Questions about the city. Do you know where I might find the Undertaker? I wish to speak to the gardener who found him. What was his name? Nikos. Nikos, where does he live? I must confess, I do not know. He's a hardworking man. Polite too.
The family Van Ilstrix since even your father was a boy.
Can I click on this? Oh, hold on. He sometimes frequents Garnet's Tavern in the marketplace. Okay. Where's the Undertaker? Irving, yes, I delivered some instruction to him recently. His home is towards the castle, near the gate. It is a strange overhang on it. It sits next to a house with a pleasant garden. Is the hospital still in the same place? Yes, on the market square. They're always asking for your uncle to move them, but to where, he asks. I think he'd rather spend the money on military. He never was one for never leave a man behind, even as a boy. What is all this questioning aid of? I hope you're not planning to cause trouble. These people are up to something, and I intend to find out. Well, be careful. If they are indeed hiding something, you don't know what lengths they might go in to keep it hidden, of course. Thank you. What can you tell me about the herbalists? Not much, frankly. We don't move in the same circles. Where would I find him?
Butler to the family Van Ilstrix since even your father was a boy.
I see. I can click on them to kind of learn more about them. You'll see it across from the hospital. There are flower boxes out front. You should find it easy. I noted the location on my map. Nice. Who presided over the funeral? Father Oliver. He tends to all the city's spiritual needs. I presume I find him in the cathedral? Yes, he rarely goes to the chapel. I suspect he doesn't like being outside the city walls. Alright, nothing more to ask. Alright, Albrecht, thanks for that. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, at this point, we kind of now would head into the city, it sounds like. Keep investigating Father's death as I slowly turn into a Necromancer. Sounds like a great time. We got things marked over here too, and you can kind of see how big the world map is that we would start in the city. But I kind of just wanted to cover this for, you know, about an hour or so here, and take a look at kind of the first little bit of tutorial, the you know, kind of initial quest line. The character creation actually took about, you know, 20 or 30 minutes or so, but I feel like it was super important to just kind of set the stage for the storyline. Again, from what I can tell and what I've heard, this is very story driven. So very immersive, kind of like you play detective as well too, as you kind of then turn into a necromancer slowly. By the sounds like it. Sounds like the Necromancer's tale. But that'll wrap. Thanks again for the publishers for hooking me up with the preview key. This is one that I would probably play it off stream or something like that. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and let's see here. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah, I think the combat would be pretty fun, especially when you get your minions up to do some work. It sounds like it's going to take some time before I even get there, so we're just going to call it now. But thanks everybody, and I will catch you on the next preview of another great game. Till next time, peace.